Longhorn fans, Sooner Nation, welcome to episode 222 of the Bevo Podcast, the only podcast exclusively dedicated to covering the greatest rivalry in college football, the University of Texas and the University of Oklahoma. It's been a while, but I'm here with my man Kevin Miller. I am John Whitson. Kevin, it's hard to get a groove after football's over, so I apologize for the delay. Folks, that's on my end, not Kevin's. Kevin was trying to make this happen. Sports and kids' events have gotten in the way, but we are back. And maybe we'll be back next week. Maybe we won't. I don't know, Kevin. It's our podcast. We'll do whatever we want to do.
Right.
We tried to get a pre-Super Bowl podcast scheduled, and I'm glad we didn't because that game sucked, Kevin.
Yeah, it was not good at all. Congratulations to the Seahawks, but not a fun or entertaining game at all.
I don't even want to talk about it that much, except to say New England, now you know what it feels like to be an Oklahoma fan for the last 4 years. So there you go. Deal with it. Did that not look like watching an Oklahoma team play? Somebody really good?
I didn't even make that comparison.
You don't think?
I'm just saying I hadn't thought about it. Have you had a quarterback performance that bad?
You know what is? Let me ask this. Don't look this up. Do you know what Drake May's passing yards were?
Was it 295?
295 yards? Are you kidding me? If you'd have asked me that right after the game, I'd have said he passed for 130 yards. Like, I don't even.
Yeah, there's a lot of garbage time stats. Yeah.
Nah,
it was all bad offensively. It was all bad.
It is bad. I don't even want to talk about the Super Bowl anymore. We might talk about it at the end, but I don't care. Listen, we've had a couple of you and I are middle-aged gentlemen now, right? I'm 47. You're
42.
42. So I got you by 5 years, but still, you're getting there, Kevin.
You're getting there. For sure.
We've had a couple of unfortunate passings in the last week. And I feel it incumbent to shout these guys out. Number one, we're not going to talk a ton about this guy, but Brad Arnold. I did not know his name. I only knew him as the lead singer of Three Doors Down. Were you a Three Doors Down fan, Kevin?
Not particularly, but I was definitely familiar with him at the time, early 2000s. Kryptonite was everywhere. I'm not a big music guy. I wasn't one of these dudes that had like a gazillion CDs of anybody. But I would always have one or two CDs like in the car to be able to play. Three Doors Down was on the list, man. I like Three Doors Down. And the weird part is you go back and listen to some of those songs, they're eerie coming from a man that's just passed away. That's all I'm going to go out there, listen to Gone is out there, Kryptonite, Loser. Like a lot of their songs, or When I'm Gone, I should say is the song. There's a lot of like kind of weird vibes. Like it put me in a weird spot on Sunday when I found out he passed away. Yeah.
Anyway, I had to get that off my chest. More importantly, as it relates to a sports podcast, particularly a football podcast, James Van der Beek, age 48, passed away today. Colorectal cancer. All you middle-aged men, make sure and get your butt checked. Listen, dude, Varsity Blues was kind of a defining movie for guys our age. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure. A generational deal for young football fans at that time. Absolutely.
I saw it in the movie theaters. Really, really, really good. Do not watch it with your children. If you think that like, hey man, this is like a movie from my past that I should watch with my kids, that's incorrect. There is a lot of stuff in that movie that makes it good, but you probably don't want it. Yeah. 3 actors from that movie that are our age or would have been our age have passed away. Can you at least name the characters? The characters?
No. Other than Vanderbeek's character, no.
Okay, so Johnny Boxon, James Van der Beek, Lance Harbor, Paul Walker.
Of course, yeah.
And then Ron Lester, Billy Bob.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Forgot about him passing away.
That's crazy,
that is wild.
dude.
It is.
So that brings me to a question, and I think it needs to be asked. Who is the best quarterback movie character that we've got? Now, this does not include television quarterbacks, because Friday Night Lights can throw that off. I'm going to give you some options, Kevin, and I'd like you to maybe rank them or at least talk to them. Are you good with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. In no particular order. Let's start with Johnny Moxon. Got Johnny Moxon, Varsity Blues. Johnny Moxon, Varsity Blues.
That one's great, especially with it being Texas, East Texas. Well, I'm assuming East Texas, but small town Texas high school football. Typical leader type, kind of did his own thing out there. Gunslinger, love it.
He was the damn dumbest smart kid Bud Kilmer had ever met. I love that line. I love the damn dumbest smart kid. What a great line. Because that's how Texas is a Texas, and this isn't a knock. This is somebody who's from Texas.
Yeah, this is Texas high school football.
Yeah, and there's always the juxtaposition of like being a jock, but actually kind of being smart.
Yeah.
That's always a push-pull in Texas. And listen, Moxon played that, and James Van der Beek played that incredibly well. So we started there. Let's stay in the state of Texas. Paul Blake, Necessary Roughness, the Texas State Armadillos. What can you say about Paul Blake, Kevin?
Not a lot. I've seen the movie, but it's been probably 30 years since I've seen it. So I can't comment too much on it.
Sinbad's in that movie.
I remember that.
Kathy
and it's like
Ireland.
basically North Texas with the color scheme and stuff.
Kathy Ireland is in that movie. But without a doubt, and Robert Loggia is the assistant coach, Coach Wally Riggs. Okay? Robert Loggia is the assistant coach. Hector Elizondo is the head coach. I don't know if you remember this. Hector Elizondo gets they think he's had a heart attack. Doesn't turn out to be a heart attack, but they think he's had a heart attack. And Robert Loggia has to coach in the last game. And it's not going well. And they get to halftime. And Robert Loggia gives the best halftime speech in all of moviedom. Okay, look it up, Google it up. Robert Loggia's halftime speech in Necessary Roughness. Now, I know we're talking about quarterbacks, but I'm just saying. On the side note, Paul Blake was all about winning, dude. He was a leader. He kept the team together. And on the last game, he had a chance to tie. And this is before college teams played in overtime, right? So in the previous game, they had finally tied a team. Now they had a chance to win it. And he does it, and he pulls it off. It's a great victory. Okay, let's go pro football real quick. Steamin' Willie Beeman.
I mean, Jamie Foxx, man, he's got the swag. Gotta love Willie Beeman.
Listen, dude, I love Willie Beeman. I always wondered what happened to Willie Beeman because they show him throwing the ball and his arm kind of hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, or did we see a one-year wonder? I think that's what Tarantino's trying. It's not. Is it Tarantino? Is he their director?
I'm not sure.
I think it might be. Regardless. No, it's not Tarantino. It's the other guy. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I think that they're trying to make a point that he's a one-year wonder. But this is he times this in the rise of the black quarterback in the NFL, perfectly. Yeah. He's a Michael Vick character, a dynamic, athletic, dual threat quarterback that was trying to break into the league. I thought it did a great job. Who is it? Do you see the director?
William Oliver. Oh, it's Oliver Stone.
Yeah, Oliver Stone. Sorry, not Tarantino. Oliver Stone. Because Oliver Stone ends up being one of the play-by-play guys in the last game alongside Barry Switzer. There you go. There's your Oklahoma connection. I'll give you a couple more. Paul Crewe, The Longest Yard. You can choose either.
I'm more familiar with the reboot.
You can either do Burt Reynolds or Adam Sandler. Either
I'm more
way,
familiar with the Adam Sandler one.
listen, Adam Sandler's good in that movie, man, and
Yeah.
I like it. I like it because he plays a serious character. Paul Crewe is actually a pretty serious guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's a little unexpected coming from Adam Sandler. A couple more, and then I'll let you give me some real quick. This is a wild one out there. Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. You big Napoleon Dynamite fan?
Not a big fan, but I've seen it.
Dude, there's a possibility he could throw it over the mountains. I don't know.
That's true.
Junior Floyd, Little Giants.
Was a big Little Giants fan back in the day.
That was a huge coup for Rick Moranis to get Junior Floyd on that team.
Right.
I mean, nobody expected that, and that was big time. Matt Saracen, Friday Night Lights. I guess that's not Matt Saracen in the movie, though. That's in the TV show.
I forget the kid's name in the movie, but I actually liked him. Very serious, dealing with stuff at home, still leading the team. A lot of pressure in Odessa to win state. A lot to deal with as a 17-year-old.
I always get excited in that movie when Boobie Miles, before he gets hurt, is going through his letters, and there's one from OU. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I get so excited about that. Two more.
You know what happened.
Two more, and then you got to give me your top three. Shane Falco, The Replacements.
Okay.
Winners want the ball, Kevin. Winners want the ball. That's Shane Falco.
Okay.
And then last, maybe my personal favorite, although I will tell you here in a minute, Sunshine. Remember the Titans.
Yeah. It's hard to go root against Sunshine. It's a great story. Kid comes in from California.
He can throw the ball a mile, can't pitch it 3 feet.
Correct.
Denzel's got to work on him. Denzel has to work on him.
I'm from Cali. We throw the ball. We throw the ball down the field. That's what he was. So.
Little sexual ambiguity with Sunshine too, which I think was nice in 2000 to bring into the scene. Okay, there's my kind of group, Kevin. You want to give me your top three?
Willie Beeman.
He's number 3 or number 1?
He's number 1.
Oh, you went straight to the number 1.
Yeah.
I think there's a good argument there. Okay, number 2.
I'm going to go with Moxon Van der Beek. Okay. Just because I like the whole, he fits the just truly fits the mold of a Texas high school football quarterback.
Yep.
To where you really can't tame them. Kind of similar to John Mateer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Moxon's
you see the talent there, but he's going to kind of do his own thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can't be tamed. And then third, I'm going to go with Sunshine.
I actually have that in a reverse order.
Okay.
I got Sunshine 1. Actually, Sunshine 1, Willie Beeman 2, Moxon 3.
Gotcha.
Now, you don't know what Sunshine would have done against better competition, right? It's Virginia, it's big school ball, but it's not Texas. So there's a question there that I think is fair to ask. But
what would he have looked at in a proper scheme, though? In a scheme that fit his skill set a little bit more?
Dude, can you imagine Sunshine in like a spread Mike Leach type air raid?
Yeah. Is he essentially Trevor Lawrence?
Oh, that's a great comp.
Several generations before.
You know what's fascinating about these three guys as it relates to the arc of the story in their individual movies is they're all backups. They're all backups. So they all have an underdog vibe to them. They're all bucking the system of an established player.
Yeah.
I find that fascinating. I didn't even think about that until we said it out loud. Look, dude, James Van der Beek was great, man. And quarterback and football movies lend themselves, I think, really well to the screen because football takes place. You know when to be excited, right? Fourth and 1, right? You know to be excited.
Yeah, you know when it's on the line. You know when there's a lot on the line here.
Final 2 minutes, you know to be. Soccer, it can just happen whenever it happens, right? Soccer is just like you and I could be talking goal. You know what I mean, like that.
Mm-hmm.
But not football, man. Football is a very defined excitement, and I think that the movies do a really good job. This was a good conversation. I agree with you. in the top 3. I just think the order might be a little different. But that's pretty good. Man, James Van der Beek. Can you believe that, Kevin? Can't believe it. Other news and notes from around the world of sports. Real quick, we got to talk Solomon Tuliaupupu getting a 9th year at Montana. Is this a real story, Kevin, or is this made up to troll Oklahoma and our desire to have Owen Heineke be granted a 5th year?
Well, no, it's a real story. But I will say, I'm not justifying it, but he's only played in three seasons.
Kevin, he's 26 years old.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying, like, if the rule is you get to play for 4 years, he hasn't played for 4 years.
Kevin, I was married twice at 26. Listen,
it's funny, though. 2018 recruiting class.
Okay, that's what I wanted to give me some Texas names from 2018 recruiting class.
How about this? Okay, one that we all know. Texas fans love, maybe not Sooner fans so much. How about Dicker the Kicker?
Dicker the Kicker was 2018?
Yeah, he just finished his 4th year in the NFL.
Is he kicking for the Chargers? Is he kicking for the Chargers?
He is. He's the most accurate kicker in the history of the NFL.
But he missed a kick in the playoff game, didn't he?
Did he? I don't remember. Might have.
The
Chargers are a mess.
Yeah, they're a disaster.
Yeah. Also, DeMarvion Overshown in that class. Caden Stearns.
One of the worst names in Texas football
Love that kid. Love that guy. Joseph Osai as well. Notable, though, when we're talking about long careers, 2 guys who were also in that same recruiting class for Texas. How about Casey Thompson, the former Texas, Nebraska, Florida Atlantic, and Oklahoma quarterback was in that class.
Son of the great Charles Thompson from Oklahoma. He had one of, if not the best performances in a non-winning role in 2021.
Right. He was awesome. The best performance of his career. He couldn't miss.
He was so good at it from the first play of the game. From the absolute first play of the game to Xavier Worthy. And he's not the reason, obviously, that y'all lost that game. I don't know. Kyler Murray could give him a run in the 2018 Red River game. But Kyler Murray's performance in the first half, it was like a tale of 2 halves for Kyler.
Correct. Yeah, he did have 2 turnovers. He played very well, but he did have 2 massive turnovers in that game.
And that wasn't the case for Casey. Casey got hurt in that game, right?
He did. Yeah, he broke his thumb. He hit it off, I think, Benito's helmet.
Okay, on the Oklahoma side of things, speaking of, Nick Benito was in the 2018 class. Just a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. Had a great year at Denver. Responsible for the big win against Baylor. You know, he was not that good in college. He was good. He was a great player for us, but he wasn't Defensive Player of the Year status. Was he coming out of school?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't like that. But you can see the talent as a rusher. I mean, even in high school, I remember Texas recruiting him. You know, it's one of those Charlie Strong deals. But yeah, big time talent coming out of St. Thomas Aquinas in Florida, and it was good for you guys. But yeah, he's gotten to the NFL and he's just continued to get better and better, become one of the best edge players in the league.
Think about Benito with a Brent Venables defense. He would have been.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they would have put him in the right spots. One other name of note from 20, and there's probably a lot I'm missing, but these were the 2 I noticed. Buki.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Talk about it. And you guys were out on him pretty quick.
With reason, Kevin. With reason. Come on, man.
Yeah. No, I'm not bashing you. I'm just saying, you know, for a guy who was a 5-star recruit.
He was terrible. Kevin, look, dude, I know the guy might have only played 3 years, but at some point a line has got to be drawn in the sand for college players, right? I mean, do you support this? Are you defending this?
No, I'm not defending it at all. I'm just, you know, because I was just curious how that was a question. How is he? And I looked, and he just had all those years where he didn't play at all. So this is technically his 4th year of actually playing. I'm surprised he hadn't moved on. Right? But yeah,
look,
that's how it ended up happening.
It's at Montana. We should not be like losing our minds over this. I think Oklahoma fan is particularly irritated because of the Owen Heineke situation and the fact that he played 15 minutes of lacrosse at Ohio State and can't get another year of eligibility, at least so far. But it's at Montana.
Is he still challenging that?
I think he's appealed it. But in this world, I think he should get it. I don't know what we're using to judge the criteria, which maybe is the point. The NCAA just makes up rules on every individual case.
Correct. There's no precedent, really.
Regardless of precedent, regardless of guideline, regardless of everything, it's just, and it's so haphazard. It's the reason why going on kind of an old man rant here. The NCAA and their lack of leadership is the reason why college football is in the state it's in now.
100%.
Because they could have taken an initiative on NIL. They could have taken an initiative on the transfer portal and put some guardrails up that would have made this world that we're currently living in a little more palatable, at least from the fan standpoint. And I think probably from the coach's standpoint and administrative standpoint and everything like that, they have
From the athlete standpoint, right? I mean, I'm sure obviously athletes are enjoying getting paid, but I don't think players who aren't the top star players, they're worried about getting pushed out too, right? So this whole deal has led to the constant turnover in rosters, and kids get pushed out of schools too. They get pushed into the portal.
Well, they get pushed into the portal, and the ones that opt to go into the portal with bad guidance and get left without any options
in the portal. Yeah, they're just out there in space.
It's
careers end, and they have no idea that they played their last down of football. But they just have no idea.
And it's at a time when, now that you have the playoff and the excitement level that comes with that, particularly Oklahoma and Texas fan who's excited that we're in the SEC and looks at the schedules we're playing and can't believe how lucky we are to be a part of this. So it's like a mixed bag of emotion for college football fans, because in some ways the sport's never been better.
Yeah.
Games
are fun. Yeah.
The games are fun.
The players are still playing hard too.
Oklahoma was in fun games last year. Texas was in fun games last year. You're back to playing A&M again. I mean, what else do you need? You get Texas. Texas fan gets to watch Oklahoma, Arkansas, and A&M every year. And that's really good for Texas fan.
Correct.
But at the same time, it's just a crap show. But transitioning from the Owen Heineke, he's actually one of, Kevin, Oklahoma has 10 combine invitees, which is up significantly over the last couple of years for Oklahoma. Deion Burks, Jaron Kanik, Fabichi Newu, R. Mason Thomas, Grayson Halton, Marvin Jones Jr., Dominic Williams, Kendall Daniels, Owen Heineke, Robert Spears Jennings. It's a pretty good class for Oklahoma. When you hear those names, how many of those 10, just spitballing here, do you think actually get drafted?
Off the top of my head, I would say Burks for sure. We will probably get drafted somewhere. Halton definitely. Marvin Jones will, even though he hasn't had a ton of production without his career, but that frame and that athleticism, you're going to get drafted.
He had moments last year for OU, I thought.
Correct. And, he never lived up to his 5-star feeling. But when you look like that, when you have that kind of size, you've got the bloodlines, he will be drafted, and probably much higher than a lot of us think he will, because of that ability.
Probably higher than his performance merited, you think?
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah. R. Mason Thomas, he's a productive edge player, right? those kind of guys go in the first 2 rounds. Dominic Williams, defensive lineman, he'll probably get drafted too.
You think when you look at it, you think Kanik and RSJ might be at the biggest risk of not getting drafted?
I think a lot of that's gonna depend on how they test. Right? I mean, Heineke's a guy who's been all over. You weren't talking about Heineke, you were talking about RSJ. I think it's going to depend on
RSJ and
how
Kanik.
he tests. How do they test? I think that's going to have a lot to do with it.
So
if they come out and blaze, if Kanik, first of all, how big is he? How is he going to measure up? Right? I don't know how big, like how tall is he? If he's going to play tight end, is he above 6'1"? I think that's going to have a lot to do with it. We've seen the athleticism. He had pretty good hands too, which no one really knew about because he had been playing defense. But I think if he has a chance to get drafted, even if he doesn't, I think he's the guy who's going to end up on a camp just because of his natural athleticism.
Yeah, I think
especially if he can play special teams.
I think Robert Spears Jennings, just to your point, it's good. The testing will help, but in terms of game production, he seemed to have plateaued after his sophomore year, right? His junior and senior years were just okay.
Nothing really stood out. No big time playmaking. I mean, I know he made a couple plays, in the Alabama or Tennessee game, but just like not the week to week consistency.
As a casual fan, maybe there's a lot of things we don't notice about him in the strong safety position. Maybe he's doing his job, and because he's doing his job, he's not in a lot of plays. But you're right, the flashy interceptions, big hits, the run support stuff just didn't seem to necessarily be there or really pop.
Yeah.
All right. Looking at Texas, 7 combine invitees, 3 less than Oklahoma and 7 less than last year. Indicative of their season, I'll let you decide. DJ Campbell, Jack Indries, Jalen Gilbo, Anthony Hill Jr., Malik Muhammad, Michael Taff.
Taff, yeah. And, excited for those guys this year. I don't know if all of them get drafted, right? And, we were surprised a couple guys didn't get invited. I thought Ethan Burke would get invited this year just because, he kind of seems like a guy with his size, his length that, the NFL would be kind of interested in. But, excited to see Anthony Hill is getting one of those top 40, go anywhere between mid-first to mid-second round is what I'm hearing for him. He has a chance to work his way up. I think if he goes and tests well, if he can run in the 4.5s, and then kind of showing his sideline to sideline ability in the drills, I think he can work his way up. DJ Campbell, he's a 5-star. He's a 5-star offensive lineman. One of the rare 5-star interior lineman prospects. He never really lived up to it. He was always good, but never elevated to that type of, All-American first round type of talent. So, I still think he'll get drafted because he's really athletic for his size. But yeah, we'll see about the other guys. I think all these guys can play in the NFL.
What about your secondary guys in Muhammad and Taff?
Well, Muhammad is really going to depend on how he runs, right? I don't think he's a really fast guy playing at corner. So I think he might be a scheme-specific guy. We don't, and then also with the way that Texas play defense, we don't know how he plays in true man-to-man coverage.
Okay.
Because Texas would always play off. And I think so. Testing is going to be incredibly important for him, like we talked about with Robert Spears Jennings. If he can come out and run, if he can run in the high 4.4s, that would be great for him. So he's a guy. I think he's a 2nd to 4th round type guy right now. Yeah, based on that. Taff will be a little bit lower than that. I just don't think he's dynamic enough as an athlete to be one of those guys who goes in the first couple rounds. But I think he'll be on a roster because he's smart. He knows how to play. yeah, I'm excited to see where these guys end up. No, we're not going to have anybody. At least you never know. Guys can rise. Matthew Golden at this time last year was looked at as a third round. He goes to the combine, runs a 4.29, and then you really look at the tape and say, oh, this guy catches everything that's in his vicinity. He ends up going in the first round, right? So guys can have insane rises, but as of right now, as it stands, I don't expect to see anybody, us having multiple first round picks like we've had over the last few years.
In other news and notes on the OU front, since we last talked, Kevin, Jay Valai has moved on to the Buffalo Bills after 8 years with OU. I, on this podcast, have been particularly hard on certain position coaches. I think we all know who those are. DeMarco Murray. And it's funny, though, as a fan, you don't often talk about the ones that really just do a very good job. And right, because they're doing what they're supposed to do, so they don't get kind of in the spotlight. I think Jay Valai at corner has done a heck of a job for Oklahoma over the last 8 years.
Yeah, they've been there 8 years, all right.
Am I wrong about that? Has he only?
I think so. I mean, he was at.
How long was he?
I'm pretty sure he was at Texas in 2020.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
Under
You're probably right. No.
Yeah.
4 years.
He was
4
at
years.
Alabama.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
4 years. 4 years. My bad. Don't come at me. 4
fine.
years. But over the last 4 years, along with Brent Venables, has done a really, really good job at quarterbacks coach. We saw the development, and we see development. That's the difference, right? That we see at other positions that we have questions and we complain about, because Eli Bowen got better this year than he was last year.
Yeah. He's a really good football player.
Cortland Gilroy, coming in as a freshman, got better as the year progressed. He didn't plateau. It wasn't worse. He didn't get discouraged. Listen, dude, when Cortland Gilroy went up against Cam Coleman, he got beat up. And rightfully, legitimately so. Cam Coleman is a great receiver.
Tough cover. It's a tough guy to cover, especially in man coverage. I mean, it's damn near impossible to cover that dude.
And I think Oklahoma decided in that game, which we're not going to be able to do it when we play Cam Coleman in this iteration at Texas, but at Auburn, we said, okay, look, we can't let him run the ball. We can't let Jackson Arnold run the ball. And, we can't give away easy intermediate stuff. That's going to put you, Cortland Gilroy, on an island against Cam Coleman, and you're going to do the best you can.
Yeah. Yeah, but we don't trust Jackson Arnold enough to really beat us throwing the football, even with Cam Coleman out there. So take your lumps and do the best you can. Yeah.
And he did the best he could, which included getting beat, right? I mean, that's going to happen. Cam Coleman going up against the best corners in the country, if put in that same situation, is going to have his share of wins.
Yes.
And all Cortland Gilroy did was get better after that, right? That could have been an inflection point, though, for a freshman.
And for sure. Yeah, that can ruin your confidence.
And I think it's a testament. We've seen Jacoby Johnson. You'd love to know what he could have done with Gentry Williams if he could have ever stayed healthy. But we've had really good production at corner. It's allowed our defense to be incredibly productive. The busts in the secondary. I mean, I don't look back at 2025 and think of what ifs in terms of defensive busts. I'm sure there were some, and I'm sure you could bring them up, but it's not like a prevailing thought, right?
No.
So anyway, thank you to Jay Valai. Moving on, we're hiring Lamar Morgan. Spent the last 2 years at Michigan. Prior to that, he was at Vanderbilt and the University of Louisiana, Raging Cajuns. Shout out to my brother. Kevin, what's your thoughts on getting Michigan's corner coach? And should we be concerned that Michigan's secondary wasn't that great the last 2 years?
I mean, when you say that, what specifically about their secondary? Do they have a lot of busts? What have you heard about that makes some OU fans concerned?
Well, it's more anecdotal than it is factual, and that's kind of how it is when you think of secondary. It's hard to just point at, I guess you could point at certain stats like pass breakups and interceptions, but when Harbaugh was there, I think it's fair to say they had a much more locked down defense. And under Sharon Moore, that defensive domination started to deteriorate. You'd agree with that, right?
They lost some pretty good players, though. They've lost pretty good players to the NFL.
They lost pretty good players, but did they also not have the coaching development that they needed?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it glass half.
It's tough too. And it's tough too, right? They had 2 first-round defensive tackles too, right? And then they had a second-round edge. So you lose all those guys, and you're not getting to the quarterback or affecting the quarterback as much. So receivers are allowed to run longer, right? Part of the reason why your secondary was so good, Oklahoma, the corners were good. Well, you got constant pressure. Mason Thomas is getting there quickly. Marvin Jones, you had great interior pressure. Grayson Halton specifically, right? David Stone. So you're affecting the quarterback, which allows you to, makes the quarterback go early, throw off balance, which leads to a lot of those turnovers. So I think it's all related. But how much do you trust your head coach?
Well, that's exactly. I mean, first of all, Brent Venables is the man defensively. We know this, and it was further solidified this past year when he took the play calling duties on himself. You're inserting what has to be a pretty competent coach to be the defensive backs coach at Michigan. There's got to be some competence there. So bringing him, to your point, in a system overseen by Brent Venables with, I think, a talent increase at other positions, it should be positive, right? Should be great. We'll see. But I'm very happy with what Jay Valai did. So thank you for the last 4 years, Jay Valai.
Shout out to him being able to, work his way up to the NFL.
What are your news and notes on the Texas front?
Not a ton right now as far as football goes. Guys are just going through winter workouts. Spring football will be starting here in a few weeks, so we're excited for that. A lot of new faces, particularly Cam Coleman. Excited about that. Obviously, the 2 running backs with Raleek Brown and Hollywood Smothers. So yeah, just excited to see what this offense can become. We got a few guys from the portal on the offensive line. Not enough, I will say that. But yeah, just excited for spring football coming up and just to install. I'm sure Sark and the rest of the offensive staff is in the lab figuring out the best way to get Cam Coleman the football, along with Ryan Wingo and Emmett Mosley and the 2 running backs, how to get all those guys on the field and the best way to take advantage of all the talent that they'll have offensively.
Well, speaking of that, you went. I appreciate what you did there, Kevin. Is you went through all of that without mentioning Arch Manning. Well done. Well, I know that was not easy for you, but well done. When I was prepping for the show and I was just straight Googling up Texas football, just looking for some news and nuggets type stuff. Dude, there's already 20 articles out there about expectations for Arch.
First of all, when you're the quarterback of Texas, it's already big enough. When your last name is Manning, it just puts you in a different stratosphere. We saw it last year when he had all the hype that he didn't deserve, right? Everyone's saying certain publications picking him to be a first-team All-American. I mean, the guy had never even played in any games that had truly mattered. So at least the hype that's inevitable for him, at least it will be somewhat justified because we've seen him play. We know what he can be at his best. So when you have a guy like that that's returning, that is very talented, the hype is going to be there, especially He's a quarterback at Texas, and his last name is Manning. But for me, as a fan, I already know what he brings to the table. We're looking for improvement from him, more consistency, specifically early in the season. But, I just chose to hit on the new pieces that are, that we brought to the team and see how they acclimate with what we already have. And, how creative we're going to be in trying to get these guys a football.
I'm about to ask you a very simple question. Will he be the best quarterback in the country next year?
No. He'll be one of the best, though.
Will he be the best quarterback of the SEC?
Yes.
So who are you going to put over him?
Maybe like Dante Moore or somebody like that.
Yeah,
at Oregon.
He's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got Dante Moore.
But first and foremost, yeah, okay, you're talking about other quarterbacks.
Ohio State's quarterback, right?
Yeah. Look, obviously the season did not end the way that Ohio State fans would have hoped, specifically for him. But we know what he can do. I'm curious to see what their offense looks like under Arthur Smith, who always runs 12 personnel, 2 tight ends. Are they going to go to that? I'm really curious to see what that's going to look like for them. But I think he's going to have a great year as well.
Look,
I'd rather have Arch over all those guys.
This is coming from an Oklahoma fan. The back half of last year really started with the fourth quarter of Mississippi State, right? Because because y'all went Kentucky, Mississippi State, right?
Yeah,
isn't that right?
I believe so.
Kentucky was awful.
All of it was. Everything about that game offensively was just horrendous.
That wasn't so much Texas won the game as Kentucky lost the game. You'd agree with that, right?
There's a lot of it.
There's a reasonable.
Yeah. It was all bad offensively, that game.
There's a reason Mark Stoops isn't at Kentucky, and it might be because of the Texas game. Okay, so let's. Yeah. And then you go to Mississippi State, which I know Jeff Lebby always messes with Texas. Blah blah blah. Okay, that's fine, Kevin. Mississippi State sucks. All right, sucks. And y'all had zero reason to be down 17 points in the fourth quarter.
17 points in the fourth.
Okay, zero reason to be down that. You can say whatever you want about Lebby gives us trouble, blah. I don't care.
He gives PK trouble.
Whatever, Kevin.
He does.
Oh,
He's like Chris Kleiman giving OU trouble. It doesn't make sense.
It's fine. I got you. But still, Mississippi State sucks. However, in that fourth quarter, it was like, for an Oklahoma fan watching that game, hoping that Texas is going to get beat by Mississippi State, which would be fantastic for the podcast. I think you'd agree. And to watch what Arch Manning did, it's like, oh, crap.
Yeah,
right?
It's happening.
It wasn't good. It just wasn't good. Yeah. Because he wasn't, even though you beat us, he wasn't particularly great in that game.
He was not. It was a great game. It was a great game plan.
It was a good game plan.
It was a game plan to win the game, not to do anything special, win the football game.
He made the right plays at the right time and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to you can't take the victory away, but the performance was whatever.
It was nothing special.
It's not going down in the annals of, some great performance.
No, it's not Colt McCoy in 2008.
No. But after that Mississippi State game, it was like, oh, here we go, and look, dude, he did still play Georgia. I don't know that Georgia game was on Arch.
I can tell you it was not. It was not on him.
But that was disappointing. And I still think that for the Texas fan out there that's like, we should have made the playoff. And, look, dude, that Georgia game, it just didn't look like y'all deserved to be there after, you know what I mean? That's just the way you had the Florida loss and then the.
Well, yeah, with such, they kind of melted down in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Right. Yeah, it's 14-10 in the fourth.
You melted down in the fourth quarter, but you also didn't do anything in the first 3 quarters to put yourself in a position to win. You'd agree with that?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. But it was a close game that we were still in.
You were still in the game, but it wasn't like it was a Titanic battle of like good on good on good. It was more like we're just surviving.
We were hanging in. Yeah, we were just hanging in there.
But the Vanderbilt game was really good for Arch. The A&M, Arkansas and the A&M game were really good. And then the bowl game, which I know it's a bowl game, and you're dealing with a coach that had he been fired by then? Had Sherrod Moore been fired by then?
I'm trying to remember. I'm not sure. Well, he wasn't there, so I think it had happened before.
Yeah. He'd been fired.
Yeah.
Man, it's amazing how that's completely
right.
But man, Arch looked good in the game.
He did, and it's funny because Michigan. What I loved about the bowl game, we always say the bowl games don't matter, but this game mattered. It just did. You could just see it.
It seemed like it did. It seemed like it did.
That was an intense game. I mean, it was chippy. It was physical. And he's pretty awesome in that game.
Well, yeah, and he's going up against, another, Bryce Underwood, right? Another guy that he's going to be compared to.
Yeah.
This was like a measuring stick game for Arch because Bryce Underwood's supposed to be the next guy. And
yes,
I don't know if he's going to get there or not. He might under Kyle Whittingham, but I think it's still to be determined. The Oklahoma game will have a lot, I think, to do with that.
Yeah, no, that'll be very, very interesting.
So anyway, I think the hype is, not to the extent that it's been portrayed, but a certain amount of hype is warranted for Arch Manning right now.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you have an experienced quarterback that's very talented to a team that has a lot of talent on there at a big name program, there's going to be hype.
And I, for one,
especially when his last name is.
I, for one, hope he has a Garrett Nussmeier-like season, Kevin. Is that fair? Is that okay?
No, because that would mean he would be basically injured the whole season.
Okay. He played in the games, Kevin, and he wasn't very good. So maybe he was injured, but he still played in the games. He still played in the games.
Everything was bad. It was a nightmare season for Nussmeier and for LSU.
Look. Isn't it funny how wrong we were? Because you take us to this time next year, and we're talking DJ Lagway, Lenora Sellers, and Garrett Nussmeier. And then we're saying, like, can Arch be the next guy? Can John Mateer be the next guy?
Right.
We don't know anything. What's Nico going to do? Because Nico hadn't transferred yet. And those three guys they all got their coach fired, I guess, except for Lenora Sellers. But Beamer could have been fired if he wanted to.
They were all so bad. It was horrible.
It was horrible. Speaking of
now
guys,
Lagway's at Baylor.
Yeah. Speaking of guys that are going to get fired, Oklahoma basketball with a ginormous win this past weekend against Vanderbilt, up 22 in the second half. Vanderbilt makes a tremendous run. Oklahoma does pull out the 92-91 victory. They improved to 12-12 on the year, 2-9 in the SEC. They host Georgia on Saturday. Georgia's 17-6. I've been an Oklahoma basketball fan my whole life. In fact, when I was growing up, Oklahoma was better at basketball than they were at football. Billy Tubbs, Stacey King, Mookie Blaylock, Skeeter Henry. All these guys were really, really good. Then Kelvin comes in the mid-90s, and all he does is just consistently win basketball games. They were ugly wins, but they were consistent. The depths that Oklahoma basketball has fallen to makes me just want to vomit all over this computer screen. It is a disaster. I've never seen anything like it. Especially when you consider, and we've talked about the fact that this has been a pretty talented team for Porter Moser. Some have argued his most talented team in 5 years. They're just not worth a crap, especially in late minutes of games. The fact that they won at Vanderbilt.
Yes, were you surprised that they were able to hold on, pull that off?
Of course I was. But I thought to myself, my God, you're up 22. Like that, this isn't the same as being up 10. Because up 10, I know they're going to get beat.
Yeah.
But they're up 22. I'm like, surely they can't screw this up. Porter Moser looked for every possible way to do it. And they didn't. They won. It's a big win, but it's not enough to save his job, I don't think. It's just bad. It's just bad basketball. It's bad to watch.
You'd have to go on a pretty big run here in order, right,
to do what? Save his job?
To save his job.
I really hope they're not thinking about saving his job.
Yeah.
I mean, the worst thing that could happen is that he wins his last 8 games or however many it is and makes it to the finals of the SEC and loses and doesn't make the tournament, but they decide to keep him.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you talked about Sean Miller. Okay, we'll talk Texas here. You talked about Sean Miller hating this team.
Yeah.
Sean Miller having to come in and basically rebuild the roster and rebuild the team, and he doesn't like what he's got and all of this stuff. And they're 15-9. They have a winning record in conference. They're on a 3-game winning streak when it matters in February. We all know that this is when it matters, February and the first half of March. They're currently last 4 in or first 4 out, depending on where you get it. And there's a really good chance he makes the tournament with this team. Because that's what coaches do, Kevin.
Yeah.
Is they improve their team over the season. So where they were struggling, now Texas isn't making those same mistakes against teams they can beat. I'm not saying any of these last 3 games that they won are against just the best team, but they're not
Correct.
bad.
You got to beat the teams you're supposed to beat.
Yes, Kevin. Yes. And like Georgia's coming to town. Georgia's 17-6. I'm talking about Oklahoma now. 17-6, 5-5 in conference. That's a home game that you should have a chance to win. I don't know. Maybe they win. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, you got to go to Tennessee, Texas A&M, Auburn, at LSU, Missouri.
LSU's not even
finishing
up. Missouri.
No.
Texas is playing Missouri on Saturday. Missouri is like 16-7, 6-4 in conference. Both of you guys are on the bubble. Both of you are last 4 in, first 4 out type teams. This is a big game for Texas. Texas wins this game, and they kind of separate themselves from the bubble, right? You'd agree? I'm just saying Texas has put themselves in a position to make the tournament, and I don't know that either one of us thought that was going to be the case.
I certainly did not. No, I didn't think Texas was going to make the tournament at all. And now, and like you said, with Sean Miller, and he's just getting the best out of these guys, right? I don't think it's his ideal team, right? If he were to recruit a team from scratch, I'm sure 75% of the guys wouldn't be on the team. But he's got who he's got, and he's just trying to make the best of it. And maybe they're starting to get it, right? Head-to-head against Oklahoma and Norman, which, look, I don't want to speak for OU fans, but I'm pretty sure you're tired of losing to mediocre Texas teams and Norman every year. It's 7 straight wins in the Lloyd Noble Center for Texas. How does that even happen? And like I said, it's not like we got those KD or those, I'm sorry, not even the KD teams, like the LaMarcus Aldridge, TJ Ford, like teams that are going to the Elite 8 every year.
We've talked about this every freaking year on this podcast now, 3 or 4, however long we've been doing this. We are losing to crappy Texas. It's crappy. It's not the word. Not very good Texas.
Average.
They're not very good.
Average. No, average. We had the one miracle run we made to the Elite 8 under Rodney Terry the year that Chris Beard got fired. We kind of caught fire in the tournament. But I went to that game that year, and I didn't think I was looking at an Elite 8 Texas team. So, 7 straight wins in the Lloyd Noble Center. This has to be driving OU basketball fans insane.
It's driving us insane.
Beating South Carolina, beating Chris Beard and Ole Miss last Saturday. Again, like you mentioned, we got Missouri coming up, LSU. We talked about this, and maybe not you and I, but just Texas fans in general. We had this 5-game stretch: Oklahoma, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Missouri, and LSU. If you can win all 5 of those games, you put yourself in a really good spot when you close out the season at Georgia, against Florida, who's really good, A&M, at Arkansas, Oklahoma again to end the season. Just to try to get to 500, maybe even a game or so above 500, just to give yourself a chance to get in.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're going to – don't you think you're going to give yourself a chance to get in, though?
Yeah. We have a chance to get in, especially if we can get this Missouri one and that LSU game, the next two.
Kevin.
Feel pretty good about the chances.
What have I said about Porter Mosier's career? Okay, and I'm making this point. This is going to make a point about Texas basketball too, though. Is making the tournament's not that hard.
Yeah. Should absolutely be an expectation.
Current SEC bracketology has 10 teams out of the SEC. 10.
Yeah.
You just got to finish in the top 2/3 of the conference, and you have a really good chance of making the tournament. Like, it's just unbelievable.
Look, it hasn't worked, right? It just hasn't.
No.
I mean, he made the tournament, for the first time last year?
Yeah.
Right?
And we lost.
First round. Yeah, it shouldn't take that long. This is not, you're not resurrecting he didn't come into a situation trying to resurrect a dead program with no support or no history. No. It just hasn't worked. Seemed like a good hire at the time, right? I don't think any of us. I don't think you were upset, or any OU fans upset at the hire at the time. Seemed like he had made the huge run with Loyola Chicago.
I think we knew Lon Kruger was done.
Yeah.
Right, and so finding a coach with tournament success, I think, was viewed as a positive. I don't think you could view that as a negative. I think it's like, oh, the guy's had tournament success. The problem is, it's not a lack of tournament success. He just can't make the tournament. So what?
Right.
I don't know. Let's talk about girls basketball real quick. Oklahoma or Texas projected as a 1 seed. Vic Schaefer is projected at a 1 seed as the biggest jerk in women's college basketball. So I think you should be excited about that too.
Triggered by I can't believe in a world that Mike White exists in.
I can't stand him.
You can't stand Vic Schaefer. You hate Vic Schaefer more than Mike White, and that blows my mind.
Dude, I am watching that Oklahoma game, and he is. And I've said this to you. What I can't stand is coaches that are on the refs from minute one. Like, they have not even done anything to impact the game, and he's on the refs. And that's exactly what happened. The tip goes up.
Sonny Dice was like that when we would play TCU.
Oh.
He's like that. From the first play. Yeah.
Him, like Kirby Smart, Vic Schaefer.
Yeah, he lives on the refs, man.
Vic Schaefer is like the women's college basketball equivalent of Kirby Smart, and I can't stand it. Right? I can't stand Kirby Smart. I'm very consistent about that. I also can't stand Vic Schaefer. Okay. Anyway, you're going to be a 1 seed. You're playing really well. Oklahoma, since we've last talked, you beat Oklahoma. We outscored you in the second half. I know that doesn't matter. But what I am going to talk about that does matter is the same thing that happened against Vanderbilt here earlier this week, is Oklahoma cannot hold on to the freaking basketball, dude. Did you watch the women's game against Texas?
Yes, I actually watched all of it.
Yes, y'all play. Okay. Texas plays a very aggressive style of defense, which can impact turnovers. Obviously. It's one of the reasons why you're going to get a number 1 seed is how well Texas girls play defense. However, it's not just what Texas does, it's what Oklahoma does, which is create their own turnovers.
Yeah, unforced turnovers, basically.
Unforced turnovers. Just whether they're anticipating pressure or they feel the need to have to make a decision right away or whatever, they make really bad decisions. Not just the ones that Texas creates, but the ones that Oklahoma does to themselves. Then you go play Vanderbilt. Here's the deal, dude. Vanderbilt does not play. Vanderbilt's a very good team. There's no shame in losing to Vanderbilt on the road. The shamefulness is in the number of turnovers that you have in that game in the first half. And it's not like Vanderbilt plays the same level of defense Texas does. They don't.
No, they're all about trying to outscore you.
They're all about trying to outscore you. But guess what? You give them 16 more chances, and they're going to outscore you. And Jenny Baranczyk, listen, we talked about this offline. You were like, oh, Jenny's really, your coach is really frustrated by the way that, okay, then she needs to do something about it, Kevin. You cannot turn the ball. Aaliyah Chavez is averaging 3 turnovers a game and way more in conference. Like, I don't know what her in-conference stats are, but it's a problem, dude. We have got to stop turning the ball over. I think we actually have a really good basketball team. You have Aaliyah Chavez, leading freshman, shooting the ball really well when she gets a chance. You got Reagan Beers, one of the best bigs in women's college basketball. You got senior leadership with Peyton Verholz. You got all these other girls that are really good ball players. And we're squandering it because we can't hold on the ball. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, 21 turnovers against Texas.
Yeah, and how many were in the first half? 17? It felt that way.
That was a fun game, but it's really sloppy from both. Texas had 17 themselves.
Yeah, but the difference is Texas is at home, right? And so you can't do it on the road like that.
40 straight games, 40 straight wins in the Moody Center.
Well, good for Vic Schaefer, Kevin. I'm glad he's getting his home wins. That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot stand him.
Ready for the tournament. Should be fun. It's going to be tough, though. Number 1 seed or not. There's some really good teams out there. I mean, Vanderbilt's awesome.
Let this sink in terms of the SEC, okay? Oklahoma is 5-5 in the SEC. They're 500. And they're still projected to be a 4 seed in bracketology, which means you get to host the first 2 rounds, which is a ginormous advantage. That just tells you how deep the SEC is. It is crazy how deep it is. Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Texas,
LSU.
Oklahoma, LSU. Yeah, don't forget about LSU. LSU, it's crazy good.
Michaela Blake's for Vanderbilt, 34 points against Oklahoma, and Aubrey Galvan with 30.
Yeah, it's not good.
I mean, when you have 2 players who can score 30 in a game, what are we talking about? When do you see that? I don't even know if UConn would have multiple 30-point scorers in one game.
Here's the deal, right? Oklahoma has the potential to go 30 with Aaliyah Chavez and 20 and 10 with Reagan Beers every game.
That's true.
But when you turn the ball over and you don't have the opportunities to get shots up.
Do you think that Aaliyah's maybe hit a freshman wall? 7 of 19, 0 of 11 from 3 against this happens, right? I mean,
we saw it
first year in college basketball. 7 of 19, 0 of 11 from 3.
Kevin, we saw it last year from Jeremiah Fears.
Yeah.
Who went top 10 in the NBA draft, is having a really good rookie season with the Pelicans.
Yeah, zero fear is what we're starting to call that kid. All the scuffles he's getting into. Yeah,
remember,
he hit the wall.
Remember, he hit the wall, and I was hard on him, right? I was like, I don't know how this kid could be a top 10 draft pick if he can't make a shot. You know, it was frustrating. He came out of it. And finished the year very strong. His last 5-6 games is pretty much what secured him a top 10 draft pick. I think the same could be said for Aaliyah Chavez if she can come out of it, right? And you know how shooters are, man.
Yeah, you go through some, man.
Dude, she just got look. I want her to keep shooting the ball. Just keep putting it up. You know,
there's no purpose on her being on the floor if she's not going to be firing.
I got zero concerns with her putting the. You know, it's what needs to happen for Oklahoma to be successful. Does that mean she's got to shoot herself out of it? Yeah, she does. Go shoot yourself out of it. I'm okay with that.
You got Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri left for the.
I think Oklahoma did not do great through the toughest part of their schedule, but the back half of their schedule, I think, is going to give them some opportunities.
Yeah, you know, it's this league has a lot of teams that can be a force to be reckoned with once the tournament starts, and it's going to be a bloodbath. The SEC's already been a bloodbath. Texas with 2 losses against South Carolina and LSU. We've got to play LSU again, or we got to play I think South Carolina again. So
look, if Oklahoma is in, if Oklahoma's in the SEC, if Oklahoma's gets a first and second round hosting, and they make it to the Sweet 16, you don't want to play Oklahoma women's basketball in a Sweet 16 matchup.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
with Aaliyah Chavez and Reagan Beers, and that's not a good matchup for anybody by the time you get to Sweet 16, unless you're playing Texas. I think Texas is a bad matchup for Oklahoma because Texas plays defense and Oklahoma doesn't handle the ball well.
Bad combination.
That's a bad combination for Oklahoma. And but outside of that, we saw a matchup with South Carolina. We know they can do that. We know things can happen. They got to take care of the ball. I know I keep saying that, but God bless, take care of the ball. What else you got, Kevin? What else do you have?
Man, softball season getting underway. Sure. What was that?
I don't like losing in softball, and we lost a game.
Well, you guys don't lose much, and I'm used to that.
Yeah, I know, but all I heard about from Patty Gasso is how good our pitching is, and I don't think our pitching was great the first weekend.
Yeah.
No,
it's a long season.
Did you see we lost our pitching coach though for an undetermined amount of time?
I heard about that. Yeah.
I think that obviously could have a lot to do with it. So I'm not going to panic. I'm going to, we're 3-1, but our bats need to come. If we're going to have a little issues pitching, our bats need to be a little more alive. How's Texas looking so far?
I think they lost the game as well, but they had pitching issues too. So, yeah, man, it's early. It's all right. You want to get these losses out of the way. You all right? You want to be playing your best at the end of the season.
Every single softball loss is a shock to the system. It is the level of excellence that Patty Gasso has created over the years is that when Oklahoma loses a softball game, it is like, what in the heck just happened? Your world is rocked. Your world is rocked.
Yeah, you win 3 in a row, 3 natties in a row.
4.
Was it 4 in a row?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, 4 in a row. Happens. I'm so glad we got ours in. Hopefully we can get.
I think we'll be all right. I think Patty will get him. I think Patty will get him going. I think we're.
With Texas Tech, obviously, we're just kind of projecting, the field in Oklahoma City. You think Oklahoma will be a factor, Texas will be a factor, Texas Tech will be a factor.
Yeah,
and just like last year.
And Somebody, Tennessee or Bama, is gonna. We're gonna realize that they've got we're gonna realize they have a stud we didn't even know about.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, both schools will be okay. We'll be all right.
Yeah,
it's early.
Yeah.
It's early. And I don't know anything about baseball, so I'm not even going to talk about it. Kevin, it's good to be back, bud. It is good to be back. And I love talking sports with you. And this is going to be a good off season. We're going to be okay. I think both schools will be all right.
We're going to make it through. It's a long off season though, man. It's like, thankfully there are things that happen during the off season that kind of get our attention and say, oh, okay, we'll come in soon. Spring football will help, right? That'll definitely help. March Madness will help. Men's and women's, right? It'll help. NBA playoffs will help after that. It's once that ends, that's when it becomes a little tough.
Oh, it gets hard.
That's when it gets
so hard. It gets so hard. It's.
Do I really care about the regular season MLB stuff? There's 100 and.
No.
That's when it gets tough.
Well, that's when you need to take up golf, Kevin. Be like me and just take up some golf. Go hit the ball. That's what I do. Kevin, have a great evening, great rest of your week, and we'll talk soon. Boomer!
Welcome.